and this is Weaponized. So that's the question people can ask. Is Dave worthy of your trust? I gotta explain why I'm so excited right now. We can prove or disprove. It can be proved or disproved what Dave came across, what he stumbled upon, what was hard of him to be convinced of, even though we'd all like this to be true. He wants to know too.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of the things that he has said and some of the criticisms that have surfaced. One of the first ones is he's talking about hardware, exotic hardware made by non-humans that he learned about in the course of his own investigations. And yet he admits he never personally saw this stuff. He wasn't in a hangar where flying saucers are stored. So how does he know?
Okay, so that's a problem that people bring up is he didn't see it. Let me explain a little bit of what over the last 14 months that we've been able to validate. We've been able to validate. First of all, Dave is a domino. If the mechanisms of protection are in place, as they should be for someone like Dave, this is going to be a cascade of information, because I know for a fact that in classified settings, under oath, where they could acknowledge the names, the specific names of legacy reverse engineering of non-terrestrial craft programs were disclosed with individuals. And I'm going to say the word durationally, meaning not a month, not a week, not something like we've heard from like Bob Lazar back in the day, but we're talking years physically working with materials have come forward. And we've known this, it's so hard to keep this back, because we know it to be true. They have come forward and testified under oath in classified settings, program names, program locations, other things than just hardware, people directly involved. So he might not have seen it, but under oath doing his investigation with these classified programs. Now, my question is, who has this information? Have they acted on it? And if they've acted on it, how do they get away with parsing these strange words publicly when they make like Arrow, or Susan Goff, when they make some statement? Have you noticed that shenanigan?
These weasel words, it's as if lawyers write this stuff, the statements that they make in response to whatever the UFO story du jour might be. In response to Dave's statements that have been reported in the media around the world, Goff has a typical statement of hers. The Department of Defense has Arrow has no specific evidence that there were reverse engineering alien spacecraft, something along those lines. Yeah, well, Arrow might not have it, or Arrow may not believe it, but that doesn't say the Department of Defense or the intelligence community doesn't have that information at all.
Words are so important. Discovered, verifiable, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the
alien too.
Right. Because
extraterrestrial.
Right. So here's a wild theory people will be throwing out once they get smartened up. Right. Which is that, like, what if there are secret programs that are filled with disinformation to make the people working on them think that these extraordinary technologies are other earthly as some sort of way to manipulate the narrative? God, that's a hilarious, interesting, but hilarious kind of theory here. We are at a moment in this whole thing where finally we have the right process in place and people need to trust it. Dave is the bullet test of the whistleblower protection rights. This is a presidential policy. This is how he went forward. When he came forward, Arrow did not exist. I can tell you, I know directly that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, is fully aware of the base understanding of what Dave Grusch brought forward, and that there are other people in those programs willing to talk. Now, my question is, and I've gotten different answers, would Dr. Kirkpatrick and his office have the authority, the need to know, maybe, but the authority to follow up on that concrete, hard evidence of physical locations of hardware and beyond storage facilities of these programs? Does he? Would he?
Do they have the clearances to have access to the kind of information Dave has shared behind closed doors? I think the answer probably is no.
Well, hold on. Clearances is one thing. So there's two sides to the coin of intelligence. There's clearance and there's need to know. So the authority comes from need to know. Now, I would say they do have a need to know, but not everybody is convinced that Arrow is going to do the right thing because of these public statements. A lot of these dominoes, a lot of these people that have direct firsthand knowledge, why do they come to us? The majority of which people don't know publicly. Why do they do that? It's because they do not trust this process yet. But how Dave Grusch's account is going to be treated is going to pave the way for if things need to come to journalists or if they need to go through the official process. It would behoove the DOD to treat this properly and to stop whoever is trying to create these reprisal aspects on Mr. Grusch.
I mean, we believe, and we have good reason to believe, that Dave has gone high up and has testified behind closed doors under oath to congressional committees and perhaps to other folks to tell the basic story. We believe he has also helped shepherd other people who have direct hands-on experience to tell that story as well. Does Sean Kirkpatrick at Arrow know about this? Sure he does.
Yes, for a fact.
Sure he does. He knows about it. He has made the same kind of weaselly statements that Susan Goff has made. Oh, well, we have seen no really verifiable information about ET reverse engineering stuff. Weaselly words.
Okay, you're throwing punches right now. You think that this is not being handled by Dr. Kirkpatrick and Arrow the way it should be. You're throwing punches.
Yeah, I think Congress has made it pretty clear. They want this information. They want to have access to it. They want whistleblowers who have information, direct hands-on experience with these legacy programs to step forward. Those people are really reluctant, as we know. We talk to them.
We have passed people through the process that are verifiably who they say they are.
Other people whose names are not yet known to the public or to the UFO world who want to tell the story, who were hoping that the whistleblower protections would work for them, that they would be able to go to Arrow as the proper agency looking into this, designated by Congress, tell their story, and that it would get out. It would go to the places where it needs to go. And now they're worried about it. And Dave is a good example of why they should be worried about it because of how he's been treated.
Or he'll be a good example of why they can trust it. The ball's in their court. But we have a specific, I want to read you something something Dave gave me to say. So let me read that to you. Okay, I'm going to have to look in the text here. Oh, he just fucking called me.
Shit.
I'll call him right now. Full disclosure, I'm sitting here with George. Cool?
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
So check it out, man.